Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first Tips and Tricks webinar of 2020. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone that due to the volume of attendees, all lines have been muted. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them through the chat, and we'll save some time to address them at the end of the webinar. Today's Tips and Tricks topic is creating a Fisdap account through Jones and Bartlett Learning. Our host is Ben Tate, who is a solutions consultant and has been with Fisdap since 2015. So without further delay, I'll pass it off to you, Ben.
Thanks, Haley. So as mentioned, today we're going to talk about creating an account through Jones and Bartlett Learning. This may come up whether you're using one of the JBL books like the Nancy Caroline, which has part of their Navigate is included the skills tracker and scheduler. You might be getting other Fisdap products through JBL as part of your order. It just depends on where you are placing your order. But if it's coming through JBL, we're going to show you how you can activate your accounts, and more specifically how your students can activate those accounts to make sure they get put into the right program and everyone is all set. So first thing we're going to do is actually start in Fisdap today, even though a lot of what we're going to talk about will be in JBL. There's one thing I want to discuss first before we get into that. So the way that the connection between your Fisdap program and your JBL accounts work is that every product in JBL has a course ID, and that course ID can be linked to a specific Fisdap program. So if you've ordered through JBL, you may have had your sales rep ask you what's your program ID or confirm with you a program ID, and you may or may not know where you can find that. So first thing I want to do is show you where that is located if your sales rep does ask you to confirm your program ID or ask you what it is. So once you get logged into Fisdap, you'll head to the Account tab at the top of the page, and then in the Program Info section, you will find the program ID. So for this program, it is 4194. So if you need to confirm that you are going to have your students set up into the right program through JBL, you would tell your rep that 4194 is your program ID. This can be especially important if you have more than one program in Fisdap, say if you have multiple campuses or anything like that, because sometimes they don't find the right program for you through the CRM that JBL uses, so we want to just make sure 100% that students get put into the right program. So confirming your program ID, especially if you have multiple campuses and want to make sure they get put into the correct campus, is going to be very important. Now, should a course ID get set up with the incorrect program ID and students are put into the wrong program, it's not the end of the world. We can absolutely fix that. We can both fix the course ID and move the students into the right program and get everyone on the right path. If that does end up coming up, just reach out to support@fisdap.net or give us a call at 651-690-9241, and we can get that process going to get that all set up. But again, hopefully everything gets set up properly, and one way to make sure it does is to confirm with your sales rep what your program ID that you want the students to log into will be. So let's assume now that you've worked with the rep, you've gotten your course ID, you know it's pointing all to the right place, and now your students are getting access codes, and they need to create their account. So what they're going to do is go to Jones and Bartlett's Learning's website, which is going to be jblearning.com, and then there'll be an option that says Redeem Code. So they'll click that, and it'll have them agree to terms and agreement. So we're going to go ahead and say yes, or rather agree, and then it's going to ask for the access code. Now, if I already had a JBL account, I could log into that account and then redeem it. In this case, I'm going to show you what it's like to start essentially from the ground up. So I'm going to take my access code and I'm going to redeem it. And if I have a course ID, I can enter it now, or I can leave it blank and enter it after I've registered. I do have one, but for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to hold off on it and just go ahead and say continue. So in this case, it's going to be for Navigate to Premier Access for the Nancy Caroline's 8th edition book. I'm going to, again, it's going to ask if I want to use an existing account. In this case, I'm going to say create a new account. So it'll require an email address, and then just to re-enter it, in this case, I am going to just copy and paste it. I'm going to enter a password, and again, re-enter it. And then we'll put your name, and an address for the students. Go ahead and just use that option. There we go. And then the rest is optional. So I'm just going to quickly hit create an account.
Oh my God.
And now we're in. So as you can see, it has my name up here, and we've got our active products. I could hide any of them. So if you have a lot of products, you can start to hide them so that they don't show up. In this case, I want to keep them as is. So what we can do then is just go to try and launch this Navigate. In doing so, it's going to tell us that right now we can either launch with open enrollment, which is not what we want to do because we do want to be in a specific program. So we're going to do launch instructor-led course. So we need to have a course ID as it's telling us. So I'm going to click enter course ID. And again, if you had already entered it when you redeem the code, this would already be taken care of. But now I'm going to put in the course ID, which again, you'll get from the sales rep. So if you as the instructor are setting up this order, you will get one course ID that you provide to all of the students for that product, but you may have, if your program is paying for the students' accounts, then you'll have a number of access codes equal to the number of students. So if you bought for 10 students, you'd have 10 access codes and one course ID. So I'm going to click enroll. And now we're in here. So I can go ahead and launch it. And this is for launching Navigate, but you'll see in 1 second once this loads that in Navigate there is a Fisdap button. So what I can do is go ahead and click on this button. It's going to have a link to the scheduler and the skills tracker. So right now, this student does not have an account in Fisdap. The Nancy Caroline, or the Navigate as part of Nancy Caroline comes with the scheduler and skills tracker. So to actually create my Fisdap account, I'm going to click one of these options. Doesn't matter which one I click, it's going to add both the scheduler and the skills tracker to it when doing it, but we do need to select one of them at least to get started. So I'll just click scheduler, and it is not happy because I was still logged into my instructor account there. So I'm going to go ahead and log out and try it again. So if that happens, if you happen to be, if one student's using the computer and then another one tries to do it and they're still logged in, it's not going to just smash their account on top of the other one. It'll say, hey, there's a mismatch, and go ahead and log out. So now we'll try that again. And you're going to be shown this page the first time that you try and launch from your JBL account into Fisdap. And you'll have two options, either to create a new account in Fisdap or to link to an existing one. So if I wanted to link to my instructor account, FizBot, I could do that. And even though this is a student code from JBL, it can be attached to a already existing instructor account, and you would have what we call multiple contexts, one being an instructor account, one being a student account, and you could switch between them in Fisdap. In this case, I don't want that to be the case. I want to start a fresh new account. So I'm going to click Create a New Account. And it's just going to confirm your information. Demographic information is not required. It's used for research purposes for our research summits that we do. But again, it's not necessary in this case. I'm just going to go ahead and ignore it and just hit Save and Continue. It'll have me agree to the Fisdap terms. And I'm just going to select that and hit Continue. Then, as any new account in Fisdap, we have our research consent form. Again, as I just mentioned, we do a research summit every year where we have research projects people create research projects using the data from Fisdap. So the research consent form is essentially allowing students to let their data be used or not. Now, in both instances, the data will always be anonymous, so their names or anything like that will never be attached to it. But even if you don't want the anonymous data being used, you can just say, I do not consent, and then you're all set. And then we're in the scheduler. So this has created the account. As you can see in the up, it says, Hi, Ben. It has the email address I use, and it's a paramedic student at the program that we were linked to via the course ID. So again, we're all in. We have set this up. I can even log out now. And now if I go back to our page here and I try and go to scheduler again, it's not going to say, hey, are you a new user? It knows what my account is. It's already linked. It takes me right there. So from here, there are a couple of ways you can get into Fisdap. Now, one, obviously, you can always go in through Navigate. But the other option is you can actually use the same sign-on that you created with JBL. So in this case, the JBL login is this email. And so what I can do is if I want to go log in directly into Fisdap, I can do member login. And I'll enter my JBL username and then the password I set up with it. And now I'm in. So for any students that create an account directly through Fisdap, create a Fisdap account directly through Jones and Bartlett, they're still able to log in directly into Fisdap. They'll just use the exact same username and password that they use for JBL. The reason I mention that specifically is that in the system, JBL, the Fisdap is giving these accounts a username on the back end that's very long and confusing. I'll show you what that looks like here. It's this long string of letters. So normally on the edited page here, this would be the username that they set up through Fisdap, where they're selecting, it might be tape or something like that. Again, this is just what the computer is using to sort of read it. What they actually use to log in is their same email and password that they use for JBL. So don't be scared if you see this. This is not their real username. The real username they're using, if created through JBL, is the same as their JBL information. So it shouldn't ever be an issue. But one thing you may also notice if you've done a lot of work with Fisdap accounts and editing student accounts is that the email address and the name itself are normally things you can change in Fisdap, but they cannot be changed here. And that's because, again, the account was created through JBL. So let's say for whatever reason, we needed to change the name of the account. Maybe someone else purchased the order and the JBL account was put under their name and they launched over and now it has the wrong name. So it's not something that can be changed in Fisdap, but we can change it by going back to our Navigate account. And I'm going to click on Profile and Edit Profile. And let's say I want to change my name to Bob. So I can go ahead and just put that in. You can also change email if we're here as well. And I will go ahead and hit Update Profile. And now my Navigate is all set. So I'm just going to go ahead and head right back. And if we relaunch from Navigate, and now it says, "Hi, Bob." So if you ever need to make a change to the account, and it's an account that's been created through Jones and Bartlett, it can totally be changed. You just need to change it in Navigate and then relaunch. That's something the students can do themselves. That's also something that an instructor in Navigate could do as well. You could change the name for the student, and then when they relaunch, it'll make that change. So not a problem if there's ever a change that needs to be made like that. Very, very simple to do. And in addition, if for whatever reason you forget the steps or your students don't know the steps, as always, please have them reach out to us because we can definitely walk them through it and get them on their way to make sure that they have exactly what they needed. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it didn't matter if we click Scheduler or Skills Tracker because launching provides access to both. So if I go to the Skills Tracker, you'll see I've got access to it. I don't have any shifts yet, but I do have access to it, so I can start to go from there. Now, that's if you're using the JBL books that include Navigate that have the Scheduler Skills Tracker. But if you have other products, say you want to we're getting the whole shebang, there's a product called the Whole Shebang Update Package that is part of the that can be sold through JBL and activated through that. So if your program is doing that, where you're getting the whole shebang, but you're also using a JBL book, essentially because the whole shebang includes the Schedule and Skills Tracker, but so does the Navigate, we have this special update package, so you're not double charged for the Schedule Skills Tracker because you're getting it with the book, but you also want it with the whole shebang. So if you are getting the whole shebang and a book, speak to your rep and ask about the update package. And then the way that would work for the students themselves is we would go back to our products here. And when I'm logged in again, there's still that redeem code option, or there's actually this button as well. Both of them will take you to the same place. So I'm going to go ahead and redeem this access code. And I'm going to go ahead and agree again. And then I will put in the access code I have for the whole shebang update package. And in this case, I am going to use the course ID right away. Now, this course ID will be different from the Navigate course ID because with JBL products, each product has a different course ID. So if you were getting the whole shebang update package and the Navigate, you would actually have 2 course IDs, one for the navigate, one for the update package, and then again as many access codes as ordered. So we're going to go ahead and continue, and just confirming that's what we want, and that looks good. So now we've got this second product in our list here. Now with the update package, or if you were doing like the assessment package, which is the testing products, or if you were just getting the Fisdap products independently of Navigate, you don't necessarily, there's not going to be an extra step of going into Navigate and then launching. We're effectively going to launch directly to Fisdap from this option. So I'm going to click here, and it's just confirming the information from the course ID, and I'm going to go ahead and click launch. And again, when you hit launch, it brings you directly into Fisdap. Now, at first glance, it may not look like anything is different. However, if we go to the Learning Center, we now have access to the readiness exam, the unit exams, and the paramedic study tools. So that update package has effectively now provided my Fisdap account with all of the products that come with the whole shebang. We've got all the testing products, and we have the scheduler skills tracker, but we didn't, charge twice for the scheduler skills tracker because it came with both of those different packages. So if you guys run that, great, no problem. Once it's launched, technically, you never need to click this again. Now, again, of course, students can always come into Navigate and they can, into JBL, and they can always launch from here if they want. That's no problem. It's a perfectly valid way of getting into Fisdap. But if they also never want to test that link again, that's totally fine, because the products, once it's launched over for the first time, the products are added to the Fisdap account and they can log in directly to it. Again, that login is going to be whatever their same username and password is for their JBL. Now, if we had, when initially launching into Fisdap, instead of selecting create a new account, if we had said to launch to an existing account and we had entered that Fisdap username and password, then you would still log in to Fisdap directly with that username and password that you have. So if you're linking to an existing account, that existing account is untouched other than being linked to your JBL account and vice versa. That was all directed from the student angle. But from an instructor, it's the same process. You'll just go into your product, you'll launch, and it will be, if you have in the Navigate side an instructor account, then it will launch you into Fisdap with an instructor account. Now, if you are not linking to an existing account in Fisdap, if you are creating a new instructor account through JBL, it will bring you into Fisdap with the minimal Fisdap permissions, which, to quickly log out of the student account and log back into my instructor account. That instructor with the minimal instructor account permissions will have just the view all data, view schedules, and view reports. So it's effectively a view account. As an example, does Joanne have that? She's got everything. So I'm going to remove that. So now we can see if you just have the instructor listed, it's view all data, view schedules, and view reports. So if you are starting a brand new program in Fisdap through JBL and you come over for the first time and you don't have permissions for anything, not a problem. Again, we can get you updated. Just give us a call or shoot us an email, 651-690-9241 or support@fisdap.net. We'll get your permission set up so you can have the full access that you need. If there already are instructor accounts in your program that do have the edit instructor accounts option, then they can simply come to, again, account page, instructor account information, find that account, and make any changes that are needed with either checking or unchecking the boxes and getting you taken care of. Similar to changing a student account through JBL, if it was created through JBL, same thing with the instructor. If the name needs to be changed or an email needs to be changed, go back into JBL, change the name there, and relaunch, and then you are all set.
Yeah.
With that, the only thing else I'll say is, before we move over to questions, is that once, and you guys may have noticed it, but once a link is set up, so as we did with the Navigate 2 going into creating that account into Fisdap, the second time we did a product that launched into Fisdap, it didn't ask us about do we want to create a new account or link to an existing one, because it already knows you're linked to that one. So any subsequent products that you launch will automatically go to the account that was already created in Fisdap. So you never need to worry about duplicate accounts or anything like that. Once it's set up, all the featured products go to that same account, regardless of what the course IDs may be or anything like that. So again, big takeaways here. If your rep asks you about the program ID, that's going to be found under the account tab, and then program info, and it's listed right there. Should be at most, this is a fairly recent program, so it should be at most 4 digits in the, at the 4,000s. But if you've got an early program, it might be 2. If you were the second program in Fisdap, basically we just count up on those program IDs as new programs are created. So program ID, found account page, and then edit program info rather. If you have more than one campus, make sure that you are getting the correct program ID for the course ID you're setting up. Then your students will go to JBL, and redeem their access code, enter their course ID, and then launch into Fisdap. And if it's their first time, they'll just confirm if they want to create a new account or link to an existing one already in Fisdap. And then from there, the link is made, and then they just launch with new products as needed. So with that, I will see if we have any questions. And I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Haley, can you confirm for me?
Yeah, no, we haven't received any questions yet.
All right. Well, if that is the case, then I will throw it back to you, Haley, but I'll just say one last time, if you do have questions that come up, please don't hesitate to reach out. Our upcoming webinars are listed on the page here, so we definitely recommend signing up for those. One last time, for any questions you've got, email us at support@fisdap.net, or you can also reach out via phone at 651-690-9241. And hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you to everyone for joining us today. We hope to have you join us for the next Tips and Tricks webinars on January 22nd and February 5th. Stay up to date on upcoming webinars or to see recordings of previous webinars. You can visit go.fisdap.net/tipsandtricks. There will be a quick survey after the webinar, so please be sure to let us know your thoughts on today's webinar and if you have any suggestions for future topics. In addition, if you have any questions that weren't addressed today, please feel free to submit them there, and we will get back to you on them shortly. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.